Tonight, the billing debacle that has a Kingston doctor taking the province to court. New zoning rules could have Ottawa neighborhoods looking a little different if it gets the green light at City Hall. Plus, debating the ByWard Market bid to get national recognition when some say the focus should be on revamping the area's image instead. Good evening. A Kingston doctor isn't backing down when it comes to her fight with the province. After making national headlines over the Ontario government's request to have her repay hundreds of thousands of dollars, the doctor is now taking the Ontario government to court. As CTV's Katie Griffin reports, the province is accusing her of improperly billing them during the pandemic.
Hi there, can I get your health card number, please?
Scenes like this, a familiar sight during the COVID-19 pandemic.
In this situation, I was trying to help out the general public in getting 35,000 people vaccinated.
Dr. Elaine Ma organized drive-through vaccine clinics in the Kingston area. Years later, she's now fighting an order to repay the Ontario government $600,000 for improper billing in divisional court.
We're in a family medicine shortage, and we need to support our doctors. We need them to feel appreciated. And when on one hand, OHIP's attorney stands up and says, Dr. Ma did great work, thank you very much, we're no way trying to diminish that. And then on the other hand say, but this actually wasn't anything extenuating, and therefore she should not only not be paid, but also should be out of pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those two statements aren't congruent with each other.
The government says Ma misused an OHIP billing code because she hired unpaid Queen's medical students as volunteers, and the vaccines were not administered in her office. Writing in a statement, with the exception of one, referring to Ma, who incorrectly billed the ministry for 21 times their eligible payments, all doctors who hosted vaccination clinics across the province use this special code to bill for vaccination at community clinics. Ma says there are broader impacts.
If the stance that OHIP has, which is that the physician can no longer bill for the services that are administered or done or performed by medical students, then essentially it is a situation where physicians are being asked to pay to train medical students. They're being asked to forfeit their own income. OHIP stepping in and saying, no, you can't do things in an efficient manner, then that limits our ability to provide care to our patients.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
In the meantime, Ontario's Auditor General is calling the province out for falling short on health care, and oversight around how doctors bill OHIP is a part of it. Here's CTV's Siobhan Morris.
Ontario's Auditor General finds big gaps in monitoring doctor billing practices. In her annual report, Shelley Spence flags physicians putting in for over 100 hours in just a day, 365 days of work a year, and far more than their peers, sometimes all three.
Those were all very shocking to me.
The government estimates anomalies could cost taxpayers in the ballpark of $500 million a year.
If there is waste in the billing system, and we're not saying there is, we're just saying it needs to be reviewed. And if it could be recovered, you could use that money to hire more family physicians.
The parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Health, dismissive of eyebrow-raising bills.
Well, no, we're not. Maybe you're talking about hypotheticals. I'm talking about an actual process.
He explains healthcare and its billing system are complex.
So we need not automatically jump to an assumption.
The Ministry of Health says the problem cases the auditor identified are being investigated.
This isn't really about the individual doctors as much as it is about the fact that the government refuses to put enough people in charge of monitoring these things.
The auditor also flags a lack of collaboration and planning on getting Ontarians linked to primary care. While the province has boasted about clearing half of a waiting list,
Healthcare Connect is failing to meet the moment. Ontario health teams are saying it's not working, patients are not using it, family doctors are not using it.
Spence notes that only about 11% of those without a doctor are using the service.
Maybe if you advertised that it's available to people, it might start working.
Ontario hasn't updated its communication plan to tell doctors and patients about the program in a decade.
For generations.
This was the biggest year on record for government advertising, $112 million through the end of March. 38% of that bill covered ads the Auditor General describes as being mostly to foster a positive image of progressive conservatives.
It's important both before or after an election cycle for the public to be informed with nonpartisan government advertising. That is what we're doing. That is what we're committed to.
A rule change by the previous Liberal government allowed this kind of advertising.
That was the wrong thing to do. It makes me mad. Not as mad as I am about the way they're spending money right now.
The government's defending disorganized management of its PPE stock, something that's led to $1.4 billion worth of gloves, masks, and gowns
literally being thrown away. Blown up in smoke.
The auditor says some of this stuff expired or was purchased post-pandemic in long-term contracts. The gear not always fitting the needs of the people who use it.
Yeah, well, I guess I would ask a question. Would you like substandard PPE to be used with your children?
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
We have extensive coverage of tonight's top stories on our website. Just go to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Now for a first look at weather, let's check in with our Jackie Perez.
Well, it's quite a chilly evening here in the capital, and this trend is likely going to continue as we get to the end of the week. Taking a look, we are below seasonal for this time of year, so factor in the wind chill. It's going to be closer to about -12, -14 when you start the day off for tomorrow morning. So we're going to start off cloudy, getting to a daytime high about 1 degree. And the thing is, there are going to be a chance of flurries, and the greatest chance for this is going to be in the early afternoon as well as into the evening. So taking a look at the conditions, it could be light flurries that will carry us into Thursday, and then by Sunday we should see more snow on the way. These details and more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. In other news, James Bowie, a disgraced Ottawa lawyer found guilty of criminal harassment and extortion, has had his law license revoked. The Law Society of Ontario stating on its website that Bowie can no longer practice in the province. In March, he was convicted of extortion, uttering death threats, and criminal harassment. He was later sentenced to 4 years in prison. One of his former clients, Leanne O'Bank, says he offered her legal services in exchange for oral sex. And during his trial, it was stated in court that he asked a friend to obtain a firearm for him to help him, quote, get rid of O'Bank. Meanwhile, Ottawa police are looking to identify 4 suspects in connection with a break-in and credit card fraud that happened over the summer. Police say 3 men and 1 woman may have been involved in a break-in on Kirkwood Avenue sometime between August 25th and 26th, and then later used stolen credit and debit cards to make purchases downtown. Police want anyone with information to get in touch with them immediately. Ottawa's housing supply could be getting a big boost by a new zoning bylaw, but as CTV's Austin Lee reports, allowing 3-story homes in every neighborhood across the city is just part of the solution, as young adults say they're struggling with affordability.
I think it sucks. It's really hard for a lot of people to afford housing.
Ask any young person about the possibility of home ownership, and you'll likely hear the same response.
It's not even been something that I've actively thought about because it's so out of the way in terms of like possibility for me.
Unless you can afford like $100,000 down payment, you can't really get a house.
According to the Ottawa Real Estate Board, the average home in Ottawa goes for more than $700,000, leaving many young people to question their future in the city.
I'm a student at Carleton about to graduate, and it's like I'm considering moving away to like find somewhere to actually live.
The city hopes part of the housing affordability solution comes from increasing density.
Stacked townhomes, row townhomes, those sort of things that are now going to be considered on every lot in the city are even more important because there is value in owning a home.
The final draft of a new sweeping zoning bylaw would pave the way for 3-story multi-unit homes in all Ottawa neighborhoods. Take, for example, this street in Alta Vista. Right now, you have single-family homes on either side of the street, but with these zoning changes, you could soon see multi-unit buildings.
It will take the right opportunity for the right person to develop as well. It's not going to be an automatic overnight. We're going to wake up and have 4 units on every lot. The change is designed to be gradual.
The city expects Ottawa's population to swell by hundreds of thousands of people over the next 20 years, and homes of all kinds are needed to meet demand.
There's still concern within the community about certain elements, but in order to meet the goals for housing, change is necessary.
Young professionals are hopeful. These zoning changes can help them to one day become homeowners.
I think that's good for like a lot of people because most people can only afford an apartment right now.
Anything that's going to let people live here for longer, because I think a lot of people really do love this city and do want to stay, but it's just impossible.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
Ottawa hockey fans could take their pick tonight. The puck dropped at 7 o'clock for both the Sens and the Charge. And for the men, tonight marked the final game of their extended road trip. The Ottawa Senators dominated in Montreal tonight, and captain Brady Tkachuk got his first goal of the season. Sports analysts calling this one a very comfortable win for the Sens. Final score 5-2.
Hustler again. And Zumwinkle strikes just like that.
It was the opposite outcome for the Ottawa Charge, who were on home ice tonight taking on the Minnesota Frost. The team struggled to get up on the board, and by the time they got one in the net, the Frost was already leading by 4. The final score in that game, 5-1 for Minnesota. The Charge hit the road for their next game. The team plays Toronto on Thursday. Giving Tuesday is meant to encourage shoppers to make donations with the money they saved from Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals. But cash-strapped Canadians appear to be tightening the purse strings, and it's signaling a rough fundraising season for local charities.
The demand in our city is ever growing, not just at our clubhouses, but overall.
BGC Ottawa says fundraising is critical to keep its programs running. The organization shut down one of its locations a couple years ago and has reduced services citywide by 26%. Other nonprofits like Daybreak Housing hopes today's giving will help them purchase a 7th property for people transitioning out of homelessness, while Kind Space, serving the LGBTQ2S+ community, needs $5,000 by month's end so that it can keep offering its drop-in service.
We've seen a significant increase, about a 7% increase for this year already. So anything that people donate actually makes like a real tangible difference to us being able to function properly without interruption, especially in the coming new year.
At BGC Ottawa, donations are being matched up to $30,000, and you still have time to give. The day isn't done yet.
The federal heritage designation status can take up to 2 to 7 years. So we have to start at some point.
Coming up, the city looks to get the ByWard Market national recognition, but some suggest there are bigger fish to fry.
The magic of the holidays is here, and this year the need is greater than ever.
Let's ensure every child in our community feels the joy with CTV and Move 100's Toy Mountain.
Together with the Salvation Army, we can help spread cheer and make a child's wish come true.
Drop off any new unwrapped toy to the designated drop-off locations or make a monetary donation online.
For all the details, visit toymountain.ca, presented by Donnelly Automotive Group.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The current temperature, -12. Over to Jackie now for a closer look at that forecast. Jackie.
Well, the frigid temperatures continue and below seasonal temperatures as well. So typically this time of year, overnight lows about -5. But yeah, we're getting down to about -12. Partly cloudy skies. But when you factor in the wind chill, we're getting down to about -15. And then tomorrow, only getting to a daytime high about 1 degree. And yes, the winds are also going to pick up. We've got gusts of up to 40 kilometers per hour. The chance of flurries, really the best chance of this is going to likely happen between 3 and 6 o'clock for tomorrow. Tonight's lows across the region really sitting between -11 to -12. Slightly warmer in Kingston at -9, but Mont Tremblant, it's going to be a chilly -18, and that does not include the wind chill factor as well. Daytime highs, we will be hovering around the freezing mark for most of eastern Ontario, with temperatures sitting around 1 degree, 0 in Gatineau as well as Petawawa. But when you look at conditions, this is a closer look at it. So flurries will likely be mostly in Pembroke as well as Renfrew. Ottawa by mid-afternoon, we may see a little bit, but then we're likely going to see more as we get into the evening and to the overnight hours. Parts of Kingston could see some freezing rain as well. And that's just for tomorrow. Taking a look at the next several days with the 7-day forecast brought to you by Pressler Law Firm. You don't pay unless we win. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. All right, Wednesday, 40% chance of periods of light snow and flurries. Thursday will carry this on well into Friday, but the temperature -9 is the temperature for Thursday with the overnight low at -20. So bundle up and stay warm this week.
Thank you, Jackie. The ByWard Market has been around since before Canada was a country, and now the city is making a bid to get it national recognition as a historic site. Here's CTV's Tyler Fleming with the details.
Glen Allen is sweeping through the capital.
We are competing, representing British Columbia at the Canadian Senior Men's Curling Championship.
Between bonspiels, touring the ByWard Market.
This is fabulous. It's, to be honest, I was born in Ottawa. Haven't set foot back here since I was 6 years old. And yeah, it's just kind of cool hanging out.
The area predates Confederation, opened in 1827. Now the city is seeking a National Historic designation with proposed boundaries around Rideau Street, Sussex Drive, Dalhousie, Gig and Parent Avenues, along with Murray and St. Patrick Streets.
We hope to be open by the fall of 2026.
After fire destroyed Vittoria Trattoria on William Street in 2019, Dominic Santaguida spent years navigating construction approvals, partly because of the area's heritage preservation status, and he has questions.
Does it come with more regulation? Does it come with more red tape? Does it come with additional costs down the road? Who knows?
But the city says the designation would be entirely commemorative and would not come with additional permits. Still, Santaguida says the focus should remain on revitalization.
The issue of parking and homelessness and people with mental health issues, these are things that probably should be addressed more quickly than having an urgency to get a plaque about heritage designation.
Those are absolutely valid points, and we are working on those things. I think we have to understand, too, the federal heritage designation status can take up to 2 to 7 years. So we have to start at some point.
While the historic status may attract more visitors, it also joins the ranks of other local sites, like the Chateau Laurier Notre Dame Basilica and Rideau Canal. For Allen, the ByWard Market qualifies and deserves a national title.
I say go for it. Absolutely.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Shine a light, a big spotlight on caregivers so that they get the support that's needed.
Coming up, Hollywood celebs in Canada discussing dementia. We'll give you highlights of the personal stories being shared with the public. A number of Hollywood stars are in Toronto today, not to promote a movie, but to promote brain health. And one of the keynote speakers is the spouse of a man who used to be one of the biggest action stars, who now requires constant care. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Bruce Willis's family announced the actor had frontotemporal dementia in 2023, just months after he developed aphasia and retired from acting. And at the Women's Brain Health Summit, his wife Emma Hemming Willis spoke of their experiences.
I think he's doing really well with a very unkind disease. You know, he's surrounded by love and support, and he's doing well today. I was carrying a lot of grief and anger and resentment and all the things that caregivers experience but don't always talk about. But I realized for myself that it was important I didn't want that just to be the only note. So I made the choice that I wasn't going to allow Bruce's disease to take our whole family.
And as Hemming Willis has become an experienced caregiver, she has also become an advocate for supporting caregivers in general.
For many caregivers, including myself, just how isolating it can be. So I think it's really important that we keep talking about caregiving, being able to, raise awareness, shine a light, a big spotlight on caregivers so that they get the support that's needed for them.
Organizer Lynn Poslin says this is the 7th annual Women's Brain Health Day.
Almost 70% of Alzheimer's sufferers are women.
but research has historically focused on men. So we wanted to make sure that we raised awareness and funds to level that research playing field, but also educate the public about what they can do to protect their cognitive vitality.
Going forward, we're hopefully going to see this as part of physical exams as we age, that maybe you'll get your amyloid and tau levels checked to see if you are at risk for developing Alzheimer's.
Lisa Genova says this is a key point in the battle against dementia as the first disease-modifying drugs become available. But diagnosis is the first step. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Number one rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Still to come, getting longevity out of your outdoor Christmas lights. Your consumer alert is up in just a few minutes. The Bell Media building is lit up bigger and brighter this year thanks to our friends at Christmas Decor from Nutrilon. It's a time of year when many people are ushering in the holidays by hanging up Christmas lights outside their home. But the winter weather can be harsh and it gets expensive when the lights don't last. Here's CTV's Pat Foran with tips on how to keep the bulbs twinkling longer.
Some homes are already decked out for the holidays, and some homeowners spare no expense to have their properties look great for the festive season.
It never seems to fail. Every year when I do my Christmas and holiday lights, there always seems to be at least one or two strings that don't work, and it's hard to know when should you fix them and when should you throw them out.
Number one rule is to make sure that you unplug things before you attempt to fix them.
Kyle Tobin of Christmas Lights Toronto says his company has been decorating homes for the past 35 years. He says, unfortunately, many holiday lights are not built to last.
The problem is that consumer lights, retail version lights, are not designed to withstand more than 1 or 2 seasons, whereas commercial grade lights are meant to be replaceable. Parts can be retrofitted so that they can be maintained to last many years.
Tobin says wet, freezing temperatures are also hard on outdoor lights.
Brittle wire, water, and corrosion. Those are the biggest culprits of things that make a light strand disposable.
If you have a strand that won't light, there are 2 fuses behind a small door on the plug. Replacing them with fuses that came with your original set or that you purchased separately could fix the problem.
If this doesn't fix it, there's a good chance you need to throw out your lights. Plug her in, and if it works, then you've probably solved the problem.
Also check bulbs for corrosion.
When this corrosion happens from moisture getting in and age, you develop something that's going to interrupt the flow of electricity.
A recap: 4 common fixes for burnt-out string lights: replace the fuses, swap burnt-out bulbs, check bulbs and the cord for damage, and if bulbs are rust-colored and the wire is brittle and frayed, recycle the lights and get a new set. Tobin says using damaged lights is not worth the fire risk, as you want to be sure you have a safe holiday season. Pat Foran, CTV News.
A well-known Ottawa bakery is shutting down. The owners of Life of Pie taking to social media to announce the last day will be on December 28th. They didn't say why they're closing the Bank Street business, but thanked patrons for their support over the past 18 years. But on the flip side, a late-night bakery is opening a few blocks away. Insomnia Cookies will be open on Bank Street near 5th Avenue until 1 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday and until 3 a.m. Thursday through Saturday. The grand opening is this Saturday.
Okay, it's question number 3. Question number 3. In the 12 days of Christmas, how many total gifts are given?
When we return, Ottawa trivia lovers congregate to test their knowledge with a Christmas theme. Stay with us. Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is -12. Now with one last look at the forecast, here's Jackie.
Well, you definitely want to add on the layers because it's a chilly start tomorrow morning, -9, but with the wind chill feeling more like -14. We are warming up to about 1 degree for our Wednesday, but then temperatures are going to be well below seasonal as we get to Thursday, -9, Friday, -5. We'll hover around the freezing mark for Saturday, but temperatures getting back into the early start of the week for Monday, sitting around -12. So we are in for a chilly first week of December.
Finally for us tonight, Ottawa trivia lovers stayed toasty at Nance Parlor on Clarence Street while being quizzed on everything about this season.
Okay, it's question number 3. Question number 3. In the 12 days of Christmas, how many total gifts are given?
It was a packed house as people were put to the test, hoping their Christmas knowledge would win them a prize. Organizers are inviting you to come out to the next one and say you don't have to be a brainiac to participate. They call it low IQ trivia, and it happens every first Tuesday of the month. It's free to participate, but the venue fills up fast, so you are encouraged to reserve a spot through the Nance Parlor website. That is CTV News for this Tuesday, December 2nd. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app, and for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe.